Hey there, you're watching Bare Knuckle Binder. Welcome to the channel. This spring, I was in the local junkyard up in my hometown of Wisconsin, and I found another Farmall M. And if you know me, I am a sucker for Farmall M's. I think they're the greatest tractors ever built. And like right before then, like a month or two before then, I realized that my old 41 Farmall M that I've had for years, had a Heisler 9-speed transmission in it, and it just had been locked out the entire time I'd owned it. I mean, I think I got it when I was 17, and I'm much older than that now. And so I unlocked the 9-speed on the 41, and it turned out to be an upgrade that I didn't know I needed. It's amazing. If you've never driven an old letter series Farmall H or M with a 9-speed transmission, either M&W or Heisler, you don't know what you're missing. However, I found this junkyard tractor simply because it had an original Heisler 9-speed transmission in it with all the original linkage. You know, just for the hell of it, this is a, let's see here. Very cool tractor. However, compared to the 41, it is an anemic little thing. It has barely enough power to pull itself up a hill. And so I did a compression test on it, and it's averaging around 60 pounds of compression across all 4 cylinders, which is, I mean, pathetic. That's terrible. That's a worn out motor. By the time most motors hit 80 pounds per cylinder in compression, they're already torn down and rebuilt. So this thing is incredibly past rebuild time. So last time I was up in Wisconsin, last month, I took an extra day before I headed back to Texas, and I pulled the head off the tractor because I figure if I'm gonna do anything to it, it at least needs a valve job. So get the valves ground. I have a shop here in Texas that I really like for that. They do all my international truck heads. And so the head has been dropped off. I took some time, I cleaned the head before I started filming this. I dropped off the head yesterday at the machine shop. I have to go to the machine shop again tomorrow though, because more parts came in today that I need to drop off for them. And that's where we're coming in now. So with the poor compression on this motor, I could have gotten away with just doing a ring job. The pistons looked good enough to reuse. The pistons were original IH overboard to 4-inch flat top pistons. The oil rings were good. This thing did not burn a drop of oil. The compression rings are just worn out. Usually I find it's the other way around. I could have just, run a hone through those cylinders and rerung the thing, and it probably would have been great. I mean, anything would be better than what it is now. But as they say, anything worth doing is worth overdoing. At least that's what I say. And so I went on Steiner Tractors, and I got the 4-inch overbore kit, new sleeves, new pistons, step pistons, so they're higher compression, rings, new wrist pins, new connecting rod bushings, and I had to go through yesterday's tractors.com and get new connecting rod bearings. The connecting rod bearings were good. There was like a little wear on them. They were 2 thousandths over, just a little bit over. So, and the crankshaft looks good where they were riding, so I'm just putting new connecting rod bearings on there. I can get away with that on this. I'm not trying to go overboard with this thing. I'm not, going through and restoring it, changing all the seals and everything. New head gasket, obviously, valve job, pistons, sleeves, obviously rings, and connecting rod bearings. So what else? Well, let's see. All right, first box, I have taken the time to paint marker out my address because I've had weirdos show up to my house before. Weird. Anyway, don't do that. Wow, space stuff. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, I got a manifold too. The manifold on this tractor was leaking. There you go. Modern replica of an old international part numbered manifold, and it's upside down right now. All right, going into box number 2. Got the exhaust pipe for the manifold. Space stuff. Hey, cowtails. One thing I love about ordering from Steiner. I could have made one. I thought about it. Normally I would, and I decided to treat myself and just get a pre-made oil pan gasket. That nice and rubbery stuff. I would have made it out of cork, so I feel spoiled. All right, this box here looks like a rebuild kit. Ah, that's what it is. It says it right on the side. Should have wrist pins in there as well. Verify this. Piston assembly, piston assembly. I imagine wrist pins are going to be in there. Oh, that's cool. Wrist pin right in there. Sleeves. Yes. Rings. Sleeve. Man, it's already got a crosshatch on this thing. It's pretty. Alright. Well, alright. Also got my piston pin bushings for the connecting rods. I got 6 new manifold nuts. They're the longer ones. And still on the way. Today is Tuesday. On Thursday, the rod bearings are supposed to get here. So, getting there in short order. In the meantime, I'm going to take these pin bushings, my old connecting rods, and the new pistons and pins into the machine shop to have these reamed out. Well, to have the old bushings taken out, these ones put in and reamed, and everything fit to the pistons, because I'm not set up to do that here. In the meantime, I think I'm going to eat one of these and show you my old pistons. Okay, so eating a cowtail. This is the original piston. Check out this pin. Now the wrist pins on the original pistons, I was starting to get a knock in that motor, and none of the connecting rod bearings looked like they were knocking. I pulled this one out clearly. Before I did, you could grab that piston and just kind of, you could actually get it to rock a little bit on that pin, which is something you absolutely do not want. You want it to be nice and tight on that pin. It can slide side to side, up here on the connecting rod, which when it's in the motor, it's not going to do. You don't want any side play. When I grabbed the piston and I felt that when I took the pistons out of the motor, that's really when I decided I was going to do the whole piston and sleeve kit. And just, do the whole 9 yards. Yeah, I could have put oversized wrist pins in here, had these machined out, put the bigger bushings in there. I could have done that. But at that point, what are you doing? For just a few dollars more, I can already get the pistons that are fitted to the oversized pins. I can get the bushings put in here, reamed out, put in, more compression, more power. this tractor is going to have twice the power at least that I've ever had it with, which is going to be great. You know, it's going to have more power than a stock M. So yeah, let me pull out a piston that I haven't taken apart yet. Okay, here's one of the rods still together. And let me see if I can get it to do it. It's hard to film this with one hand. Some of that is, most of that is it slapping back and forth on the pin, but some of it is the thing knocking. So I know this one is worn just the same as that pin. I'm sure maybe one of them's worn even more, but that's enough for this thing running to make a sound like that, especially if it's missing or whatever. And especially with poor compression, you're gonna get some misfires. And the tractor actually ran quite well for having such low compression. I mean, it purred. Especially when you got it more under load. They said I could probably get these back by the end of the week. Well, the new pistons on these connecting rods. Could have those back by the end of the week, and the head sometime next week. So, and then after next week, I'm planning to go back up to Wisconsin. Like I said, a video or two back, my dad has been going through it with cancer lately, so I've been spending more time in Wisconsin, which I really appreciate everyone's comments and thoughts and prayers and everything for my dad. And some folks have said, you know, don't worry about the project, spend time with your dad. When I'm up there, first off, it's really fun to do these projects with him as much as I can. Takes his mind off it a little bit, I think. And there's times when like he wears out and, you know, goes to sleep or whatever, and I just have time on my hands to work on some projects. So don't worry, I am spending as much time with my dad as I can. On the other hand, I will be going up there pretty much as soon as I get that head back, I think. And I think I can get this tractor pretty much slapped together in about a day, day and a half. Depends on, obviously, how much help my folks need with what their stuff around the place. So, all right, I just packed up all the pistons and the rods to take to the machine shop tomorrow. These are the old wrist pins out. And as you can see, there is some excessive wear on these. And all of the pistons were just a little bit loose. So that could definitely give me the knocking sound that I heard just intermittently. It wasn't bad. I mean, I've had knocking rods before that just, you know, sounds like someone's at the door. This wasn't that bad, but it was something I noticed every once in a while, so I think this is it. All the old pistons sitting there, new manifold there. I think I'm going to sandblast that thing and paint it with some high temp black paint. So there you have it. Got the old stuff here. I'm going to take a combination of the old connecting rods and the new pistons with the new wrist pins and bushings to the machine shop. So the M that I got this spring, if you follow me on Instagram, all right, two things. If you follow me on Instagram, I keep mentioning Instagram all the time on my YouTube channel, and I want to say real quick that I'm not trying to push Instagram on anybody, but it's a lot of International Harvester folks are on Instagram. A lot of Farmall folks, Scout folks, IH truck folks, all on Instagram because it's a pretty easy way to show off trucks and tractors and just basically pictures of old stuff. But I'm not trying to push Instagram on anybody, but it is a pretty cool place to follow along if you're on there already. Okay, so as I was saying, on Instagram, when I talk about this M, I always refer to it as the Junkyard tractor because I bought it at the Junkyard. I found it in a pool of tractors, like a smaller yard of tractors that they only sell those tractors whole. They don't sell parts off them because they have a tractor yard where you can get all kinds of parts for old Farmalls and stuff. But they also have a tractor yard up front. It's typically like old farms that sold off, or like the old farmer died, you know, estate sale stuff, and they don't know what to do with the tractor. Maybe the tractor didn't sell at the estate sale, etc. and so on. So they only sell these ones whole. So it's, you know, it's a tractor that would still be pretty good. And I saw the Heisler setup on this one. I saw that it had the original linkage, which is tough to find. That original linkage is decades gone off my 41. And if you saw a few videos back, I had actually rigged up a new linkage system with a old TA handle off of a Super MTA that I found in the junkyard up there. But anyway, this M, I always refer to it as the junkyard tractor. So when I say the junkyard tractor, this 51M is what I'm talking about. All right, so the machine shop got a hold of me, and such is the way of things of my life lately. But this tractor head has 3 cracks in it, and so of course I had to come over and see Isaac, and I guess he's gonna make a video about this.
Yep.
Coming up soon. He's got something exciting to do about it. He wouldn't tell me what it is, so you'll just have to watch his channel, I guess. I mean, you and everybody else. So anyway, maybe I can figure out another head for the tractor for now, or maybe if I can be patient, I can wait on this one. So anyway, that's where we're at with this thing now. All right, so nobody freak out, but since the last part of the tractor video that I filmed, I shaved. So this tractor video has been over the course of several weeks. And when I was, let's see here, when I was with Isaac in the last shot, I had just got the news about the head. And so let me show you what I got. I'm in Wisconsin now, and on my way up here, I grabbed this head in Missouri. The guy said it was not cracked, but I don't know how you can tell that. So I'll be taking this one back to Texas, taking it to the shop and getting it magnafluxed. I would have just cleaned it up as much as possible and put it on the tractor just to get the tractor running. However, the day before I left to come up here, the shop reached out to me, and the connecting rods and bushings, apparently somehow they messed up 2 of the bushings, and so they told me I need to get more bushings for them to hopefully install correctly in ream. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to get this done, so instead of putting a questionable head on the tractor, I'm going to take this back to Texas and get it magnafluxed. In the long run, I'm still going to use the head that Isaac's got that he's going to fix. Stay tuned for that one too, because I think we're going to do a collaboration Instagram live or something. We're going to try to, at least. Don't hold me to it. He and I are both old school, kind of somewhat technology challenged as far as computers and YouTube and all that is concerned, but we're going to try to figure it out. We've been talking about it. But anyway, so I've got this head. I'm gonna take it, get it magnafluxed. I'm thinking about going to the junkyard tomorrow and grabbing 2 more heads and getting those magnafluxed. So out of the, however many, I'll have at least 1 good head. Mildly disappointing about that, but you want it to be right. Overall, this head looks pretty decent for what it is. I was gonna show a really cool valve lapping hack that I have, because I wasn't gonna have it at the shop for them to grind the valves. And out of the heads that I have, I think I'll just get them magnafluxed, and the ones without cracks, I'll just have them resurfaced. And then on one of them, at least, I'll show you the valve lapping trick in the next video. But let's go take a look at this tractor, because this tractor hasn't actually been on screen other than old footage. So let's go out to where it is. All right, here she is, 1951 Farmall M. Unlike my 41, this one is a complete tractor. The 41 is it's an old workhorse. It's a composite of a bunch of different stuff, but this one seems to be mostly original where it counts. Cool things: Christmas tree valve, M&W live hydraulic pump. It's got the belt pulley drive, no belt pulley. Figure that out. It's got this dandy brake lock thing. The one on the 41 is the kind, it's the rod that goes across the floor, and you step it on that side and it flips it up. However, this has got the hose protector here, so I'm still trying to figure out how to make it work with that. Here's a steering wheel I picked up for it because this one's all bent. This brake pedal was twisted, and so this is one from the Junkyard that I grabbed in another video. You can see that I got the head off of it, so there's a garbage bag over it. Pretty cool. That garbage bag fit perfectly over there, nice and tight. Got this toolbox full of treasures with it. Carbs in the shop, took that off obviously with a manifold and everything. Here's a Heisler linkage. It's actually disconnected right now. Got the original lever, linkage, and then the control lever here. I was mentioning in the video where I took the flatbed to the Junkyard that a Heisler comes out. You'll see it just above the clutch rod here. And on a stock M without this, it'll just be blank. But this is a hole we have to drill to put this in. So that's how you can tell a Heisler even if the linkage isn't on there. The tractor has an X suffix on the serial number, which means it was originally a gas tractor. And so it doesn't have the hole for the starter tank. I thought this was a nice touch. Where to put your slow moving sign when you're busy working and you don't need it behind you. So besides the motor stuff with the, the rings and pistons, sleeves, etc., another problem this tractor has is the wiring is a mess. It's absolutely embarrassing to look at. It's clearly been farmered, as my dad would say. I'll show you this a little bit. Yeah, you got some definite rat nest, and when I got it, it had a Bosch alternator off of what looked to be a Volkswagen. And instead of putting a diode in line with it to start charging, you had to press this button here, and that would excite the alternator and it would start charging. So I thought that was pretty cool. However, the alternator did charge. Once you press this button, it would actually work. This connector here, this is something maybe y'all can help me out with. I'm trying to find some of these connectors, and if you know what the name of them are or where to find them, I would love to find some of these connectors, like the 1 into 2 electrical connectors. This is pretty special. This is you see this a lot on restored tractors. They give you the decals for whatever switch you had, and so people doing restorations will just put them both on. So this is for the low charge, high charge, dim bright, or you had the off dim bright if you didn't have the 4-position switch to give yourself some high charge. It needs an original ignition switch. This is not great. Now it originally had radiator shutters, and this is the crank for it, and all the linkage is intact except the shutters are gone. So I want to find an extra set of shutters for this thing just to help it heat up in the winter. Now what's interesting about this is that I sold somebody a set of H shutters last year, or maybe it was this year. I can't really remember. Time's flying by right now. But he wanted to return them and get his money back because the tractor didn't run on distillate anymore. And obviously one of the things for radiator shutters, like the biggest purpose initially was to heat up a distillate tractor and keep it warm, whether it was running on kerosene or distillate, because they don't run as hot, or I should say they need to be running hotter. The motor needs to be hot for it to really vaporize the fuel correctly. Now, he was like, well, just realized that I restoring this thing, can't run on distillate because they don't make it anymore. Well, first off, they haven't used distillate since 1956. That's when they stopped making this stuff. And 2, radiator shutters can still serve a purpose to warm up a gasoline tractor in the winter. So, just some quick facts in case you didn't know. But anyway, I'm looking for radiator shutters for an M, so I'll find some someday. I started out this video thinking that it was going to be one big long video, start to finish. Here's the problems the tractor's having. Here's a solution. Fix it. Tractor runs good. However, seeing all the problems I'm having with the cracked head now and the piston pin bushings, this feels like a pretty good place to stop this video. In the meantime, I'll get all my parts figured out, all the ducks in the row for that, bring it back in part 2, put this thing back together, get it running, and hopefully I can have this thing back together in time for the Badger Steam and Gas Show. The Badger Steam and Gas Show is a tractor show here in Wisconsin. It's in Baraboo, Wisconsin. It is August 16th to the 18th this year. Now I'm hoping to have this tractor, the 41 and the M5H6 there. Who knows? Even if everything falls apart and I can't have any of these machines there, I will be there in person. It's one of my favorite tractor shows. Look for me if you're there. I'll be walking around. I'll be wearing this hat. And it's my birthday weekend. So if you want to point me in the direction of some Farmall M shutters, that'd be rad. And I have to mention it again because I forgot to mention it in the last video, but the Holden brothers and I will be in Grass Valley, California for the Sierra Fall Rally. Super cool. They'll be there with their 69 Travel All Sweet Pea. I will be there with Claudette, my 1952 L122 Coleman 4x4 conversion, the only one known to exist, at least at this point. If you're on the West Coast, if you love International Harvesters, if you like hanging out with cool people, there's also a swap meet and some trail rides. Definitely come see us. We will be there. It's the second weekend of October. I will put the registration info in the video description. I hope you all have an amazing and safe weekend. Like and subscribe if you like this sort of thing. If you like all things International Harvester like I do, this is a great place to be. And I will see you in the next video.